Hey everybody, before we get started, I just want to remind this episode brought to you by our patrons like Akio Comics, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Mr. Flores, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, Sotosan0424, and Video Gamer 75. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thanks for your support, everybody. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So, it's still time to talk about The Legend of the Five Rings RPG by Fantasy Flight Games, for now. Yeah, so a lot of doom and gloom and all that stuff, and it's super over. But is it quite yet? No. A lot of people are like, doom and gloom, it's super done for, but it turns out, not quite yet at least. While the word on the street is definitely, and I say word on the street because although some official people have made those comments, still technically there's no official word from Fantasy Flight, like in an actual, announcement-y type capacity. But it does appear that they are indeed ramping down RPG production to ultimately cease that particular arm of their business. But it sounds like there's a few things left in the pipeline, so don't make those gravestones just yet. It's more of a zombie game. And although, ironically, I called this as L5R role-playing, technically we're also going to talk about fiction, because those are still ongoing. I decided to do kind of a double feature since we got some announcements today, and clump all the news together. Look forward to the next edition of Enter the Dojo, probably next month. I think I'm going to break my rule, and I'm going to do Bayushi Death Dealer, because people are talking a lot of shit, like they were with Kakita, and I'm like, I can't handle this. So, maybe we'll get in there. But that's for next time. For now, we're going to talk about the news. So, first up, as you can see, this was actually last week as of the time recording this, but again, like I said, I decided to lump all the news together. So, first up, by DG Ladderout, we have Trail of Shadows, the Crab Novella. This is a 120-page novella featuring Hida Sukune, who has cards and stuff. It will involve the Nezumi awakening to some artifact or finding something in the Shinneman Mori, and Sukune is sent to go figure it out. So there's going to be a lot of Shinneman, probably a lot of Nezumi, a lot of crab history, and maybe some taint and some spooky stuff. Kind of an interesting take from Ladderout. I'd have to look at what other fictions he's done, because obviously I'm most prominently associated with the Unicorn Novella, but I'd have to double check what else he's been working on. But moderately interested in this. I think the Unicorn and the Dragon Novella grabbed me a lot sooner. But, we could get some spooky stuff, and the Shinneman's really interesting, so this will probably be a good one. And it'll come with the usual, because I'm going to buy the physical version, obviously. And if Amazon doesn't have it soon enough, I might buy it directly from FFG to remind them that I'm still a paying customer. And before somebody's like, you should buy a fiction book from your local gaming store. They definitely stock those. But yeah, it will also come with alt art for Hida Sukune and Kikyo, the ancestral armor of the crab, which is not released yet. Sukune's card is out already. That was in the Crab Clan pack. Indicating that, kind of like we've seen with some of the stuff, the novellas were originally going to coincide with clan pack releases, but then somebody at FFG was like, whoa, these clans are not getting their support fast enough. We need to rush out those clan card packs. We can't wait for these novellas to keep up. So, that means there's probably a lion and a crane novella in the works somewhere. Just, not quite out yet. But it'll come with those alt art cards, and hopefully some background information on the crab. Like I said, overall, moderately excited. I love to see new fiction. The novellas are usually pretty good. I have my own, tastes and stuff going on, but I really like the Unicorn novella, unlike some people, so I'm interested to see it just for the author, even if the themes are not 100% in my wheelhouse, so we'll see what happens. It'll be good. And make sure if you're actually wanting to support Fantasy Flight and L5R to actually buy product. That's super important now, especially with the future being kind of a nobody can say exactly what the funk is going on kind of situation. So, yeah, okay. Let's move on to RPG news then, since there's not much else to talk about the novellas. They're pretty compact. Though, when this comes out, do obviously look forward to me doing another book club review, like I've done with some other stuff. So, the big announcement that was today is there's the usual double pack announcement of we getting a source book and another adventure to go with it in one of those old bundly releases. So first up, we're getting Celestial Realms, the Essential Guide to the Spirit Realms, 144-page source book, which follows the usual 3-chapter format we've seen from Shadowlands and Courts of Stone. So basically, this is a clan book. Spoiler, it's the Phoenix. Now, this is pretty interesting because prior to the whole, the RPG department is like not only being slashed, but actual production is winding down to stop in the not too distant future. To long-term stop, I believe is the exact words of Katrina Ostrander. That all the, like, obviously, I'd heard rumors that were pretty effective at calling that situation, rumors and leaks, whatever you want to call it. But they seem to indicate that the theorized dragon and lion books were next. So it's very interesting to see the Phoenix book jump to the forefront. This may be because we're dealing completely with freelancers now, so it's really a matter of who's free to work on what segments. But there may be one or two more books still in development even prior to the whole we're actually canceling thing, let alone the supposed conversations from people who work with Asmodee. I don't want to say Asmodee employees, but people who work with Asmodee on the French side, that the RPGs are not necessarily finished just because Fantasy Flight is done with them, which is an interesting proposition. I will be sure to let you know more. But on the other hand, I'm super excited for the content in this. In fact, that's probably going to have to make me put another hold on my own home game campaign. Because guess what? That was a little bit more mystical and spiritual leaning, so now there's going to be some probably some adjustments I need to make based on Phoenix stuff. So yeah, this is going to be the Phoenix book, 144 pages. The first section will deal with the aspects of the various spirit realms, along with the history and geography of the Phoenix clan. So not only talking about Ningen-Do, but also, hey, what's going on in Tengoku? What's going on in Meido and Jigoku? The side realms, like Realm of Spirits, the Hungry Dead, the Dream Realm, maybe. Though I expect, hopefully, if they're going to do Moth stuff, hopefully we can get some Moth stuff, I should say. Because that's one of those things they've really been dripping down there. But it'll also go into the history and geography of the Phoenix clan, break down their families, talk about their new stuff. So the second section will have new player options. First and foremost, they are delivering the Centipede minor clan, so the Moshi are going to be into the forefront, which is pretty interesting because, unlike some of the other minor clans, they have been pretty quiet on the lore front. Kitsune have appeared. Hera have been mentioned before, both in the RPG and have now had basically a focal point fiction. The Cat Clan and the Moth Clan have both been alluded to in the RPG, and there was even a minor mention of the Cat Clan in one of the fictions. But despite the fact that the Moshi got absorbed by the Mantis in the old lore, they have been very quiet on that front until now. So we'll have to see what's up there. They'll obviously get at least one clan school, maybe two. I'm going to go probably for one, though, because there will be new schools in this, and apparently new schools for every great clan, so that should be super interesting. I'm expecting a lot of spiritual stuff. There's going to be new invocations. Not that was super in demand. I think, obviously, for purposes of completion, more Kiho is probably important, but a focus on new invocations isn't wrong either. And new void techniques called inversions, which kind of makes sense. Like, even in my head, I was like, blah, 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 void invocations, but since they call it something different, I immediately thought, oh, duh. That smack on my forehead was more like a slap. That wasn't a slap. It was more like a bonk, so you probably didn't hear it. But I was more like, doh. Of course they're not called invocations. There's no void kami. You can't invoke them. You have to do something different. So this will be an interesting way to kind of get that out of the way. Ishiken are confirmed to be there, so there's going to be at least one Phoenix school that will be Isawa Ishiken. I mended those two together. But also, there's inversions for not just the Ishiken, but other Void Wielders, so maybe we'll get Shosuro Shadow Magic in here, which is said to be dealing with Void stuff. We could get other relevant uses. I doubt there's a generic school, but there's probably a title which maybe gives you access to some inversions, like for being Void-touched or something. And we'll get to see if there's other elements of Void magic that we're dealing with here. Also, this is going to include stats for all the ancestral swords. I guess all those celestial weapons that are appearing in Path of Waves got everybody a little jealous for serious business Rokugani weapons, so we're going to talk about the ancestral swords and their special powers. So that's kind of cool and interesting, and we'll definitely offer you a template for your own various magical swords and things. Overall, very interested to see what it is, because they're explicitly calling out that there will be, new schools for every clan. Some of them may be different than what you'd expect, like, obviously there have been some, very faint connections, like, for instance, Kitsu, Medic, and arguably even Minamoto Tao's Blade in Shadowlands were a little bit off kilter there. I really hope there's not a third Yogo school in here, please. Anything but that. That's just, you're killing me. Even though that would make sense because the Yogo used to be... Whatever. Please don't. They've got enough. They have 2 Shugenja schools that do 2 different things. Please. Though, again, I said, the rumors I heard about the Lion book is that there's going to be a Scorpion Monk school there, so... We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm very eager to see the previews upcoming. This should be Q2 this year is the strike window, and we'll narrow that down. And actually, who knows? Let me check the upcoming page. I'll check the FFG upcoming page. But that's mostly the stuff for players in there, so that'll be interesting. There'll probably be a couple of rituals and maybe some new Shuji, but the focus will be on invocations. And the third section was said to give the GM tools for their own religious groups and sects and spiritual encounters. So probably some tips on dealing with spiritual entities, how to integrate to them into your campaign, dealing with religion as a sub-theme, I think. Possibly some kind of faith or spirit realm-based extra EXP thing, you know. Though I also hope there's more signature scrolls, though they didn't advertise them, you know. There will probably be new titles of various purposes, and so on and so forth that we talked about. And there will probably be stat lines for new, interesting supernatural entities. So let me scroll. Have they added this to the upcoming? Yeah, so the projected release date for this is June. That is the middle of the year, so assuming there's no more shenanigans, that'll probably actually be happening around then. We'll have to see if it gets narrowed down, because there's a lot of crap happening in the world. But yes, super excited for this. I love the spiritual stuff, I gotta be honest, and I especially love the spiritual stuff that is not just... just because I'll be honest, I'm a little biased, but I don't think that a lot of the Taint stuff is a lot of the nature of how they handled that in the old lore and even in the new one is East Asian fantasy enough for me. So like Jigoku is just hell, it was always crappy. Why is it there then? Why does it exist? It existed before Fu Leng hit it. That's how he got weird and tainted himself. So I loved a lot of what Fantasy Flight did in Emerald Empire. Now, there's probably going to be a little bit of redundancy with Emerald Empire. Like, some people did mention that parts of Courts of Stone were kind of reiterating parts of Emerald Empire just with slightly different words. Though I do think they expanded on some of those concepts a little bit, like with castles and stuff. But you can expect there to also probably be a high-level summary of the spiritual realms and the spiritual history of Rokugan, just because... Well, it makes sense. They can't count that you've also bought Emerald Empire, though you totally should, because it's, you know, your dollars are directly contributing to hopefully the possible continuation of this franchise. It's very critical right now, okay? Very important. Like, if I bought these books physically, I would probably be slapping in a pre-order right now, but I buy them PDF at a vast delay. So, Final Fantasy, or Fantasy Flight, you gotta work with me. Now, if this was Final Fantasy, I have that pre-ordered. Anyway, but yeah, so there will probably be a little bit of redundancy, like I said, but in general, I love that stuff, so I'm super excited for this book. Also, look how red and fiery it is. Damn. Love that. Then let's talk about the adventure really quick. So, as always, with these sort of releases, there's going to be a adventure supplement with this, a 32-page adventure booklet called Wheel of Judgment. So, this is actually super interesting because, hey, guess what? It centers on Meido and the playable characters who are, in fact, deceased. So, yeah, it's a spirit realm adventure. You're literally in the underworld, as it says in the subtitle. You're going to have to deal with the bureaucracy of the underworld and the vile machinations of the Oni. And in fact, may even have to go into Jigoku and come out to solve your situation. Which, again, I love that concept. This is hopefully going to add a lot more detail to how actually Jigoku was, A, supposed to work, and B, how it works now, after all the great cosmic kerfuffle. But also, it's just a really fun concept you can do with this kind of celestial bureaucracy stuff. You can literally still have an adventure after you're dead, because that's just how the underworld works. Oh, I'm definitely going to have to consider picking this one up myself, just for the sake of, like, mining it for material, because holy cow, that sounds super fun. And gosh, if they're still doing those, if they're still end up doing the supplemental adventures like they did for, Path of Waves, I'd love to see the little DLC for that. I know that there's a lot of people who are playing the interconnected adventures of all the different things together. I really wonder what they're going to do for this one. But otherwise, yeah, it's all that. Comes with a beautiful double-sided map, which is really, really sick. I just want that map on my own. And about 50 punchboard tokens for more token stuff. Not much else to say here. It's a super interesting concept. I can't wait to hear about it once it's actually out. Cover art is really rad. Hope I can figure out which artist that is. But yeah, it's another adventure. If you want to come check it out, I've heard mixed responses about the adventures. Some seem fun, others are a little specific, but we'll get into the whole thing and kind of see how it is later. And like I said before, obviously I wait for PDFs, so it'll probably be July before I get all these and whatnot. But I'm super interested to see what's coming up. And like I said, I am also curious to see about other potential announcements because, like I said, this is not the rumored book or books I have been hearing about that are in development still. So there's probably some more things going on. I know some people are kind of despondent and being like, this is 2 books, so this is 2 books. I would argue this is not 2 books. They literally don't call Wheel of Judgment a book. It's a booklet. But yeah, so some people have taken this as 2 products, but I think that's at least 2 more source books, counting this one. Hopefully 3. Like, gosh, I'd really like to get through all of the Great Clans before they can the line, but I don't know if that's how that's going to work. And we'll just have to see. Like I said, continue to vote with your dollars. Like, don't give up support just because there's rumors the Foundation is shaky. As you can see, they are still producing content in some form. Until they physically stop, you should not stop buying. And you should not stop recommending it to your friends so they buy. I've talked about this before. It would be really stupid of them to, like, outright completely cancel something they completely own. Now, obviously, there's concerns about, like, management companies and you know, the funds that run this kind of stuff are trying to make all the actuarial tables sort out, which is the nature of business sometimes, but that also doesn't necessarily mean you leave money on the table, right? Even if you want to make one business look good, if you have a product that people are buying and that you own, you probably want to shunt it off to somewhere else. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Also, keep your eye out for the Aconite books. We're also getting Curse of Honor. The story team has not clarified where that lays in canonicity. We're probably going to wait until it comes out closer. It could be that these are more like side story stuff. Kind of like how the Clan War novels were just kind of, in all honesty, shat out a little bit by Wizards of the Coast when they had the license for L5R to capitalize on them, and they were confusing and poorly written. Hopefully they aren't, because I'm super interested. Not in Curse of Honor. I gotta be honest, the crab aren't my thing. I'm sorry. I'm biased against Shadowlands stuff on a metaphysical level. And then also, I'm biased against all you Shadowlands scrub who are like, whoa, Shadowlands! We're gonna upset the balance of this universe and doom everybody to eternal torment. So I'm not really super keen on Curse of Honor, but Poison River, a WG Shin mystery, is like, damn, that sounds cool. I wanna get a load of that one. So I'll be interested in the novels when they come out, the full-size ones, through Aconite Printing, an imprint of Asmodee. But all right, I think that's all really the news. I just have to fiddle with my new voice, my new video and voice softwares to make sure everything sorts out okay. But yeah, that's the news as it is. So the game may be quote unquote dead, but I guess you can still have adventures in the afterlife, as seen with Wheel of Judgment. So we'll be sure to continue to bring you news. Like I said, stay tuned in the coming months for some more Enter the Dojo stuff. Still debating on whether or not to do a full-blown Intro to Rokugan video. Because, on the one hand, like I think I've said this in other places, like I might have said this in the last Enter the Dojo. On the one hand, I think that the core book really does give you all the material, but also that means you have to actually pull up a core book and just read it. So I have to figure out, like, how much do I want to say for myself and how much do I want to leave to actually cover the books. But anyway, that's an ongoing stuff. Stay tuned to future L5R videos. I will probably continue to make these videos for a while, even if the RPG ends, just because I like it. And like I said, some of these are pretty popular. And keep an eye out. I will eventually run that L5R game. We have an ongoing joke now in the group, which is, why haven't we played L5R yet? Right now it's because we're running Clone Wars, though. If you're a fan of Fantasy Flight Star Wars RPG, we've got 3 episodes of that public, plus our episode 0 character creation and stuff. And number 4 should probably be out by the time this is public. Again, I don't know all scheduling stuff, but check that out. All right, it's time to wrap this up. I made this slide go on way too long. So, hey, if you like this video, give it a like. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Though, try and keep your speculation on the business side of it to a minimum, because for me personally, that's been done to death. I don't need to read more of those comments. And also, there's just a whole lot of none of us are in a position to actually know anything, unfortunately. But hey, if you have other thoughts about this book or the novellas or anything like that, I'd love to hear them. What schools do you think will be in this one? Go ahead and let me know. I'm kind of actually also hoping there's not a Cooney school in this, just because they've already gotten 2 that are pretty on the nose. Anyway, comments down below. Also, hit up our Discord. That link is always in the description and on our channel page. And there's quite a lot of L5R discussion off and on there. So it's a good place to get into our community. And make sure to subscribe to our channel so you can get all our latest videos, whether they're L5R or not. And don't forget to hit that bell for notifications, even if you're already subscribed, so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream and all that other stuff. If you're looking for other videos on this channel, also check out our last episode of What's Up, Gotcha Upgrades, where I try to talk about other RPGs, but the live chat audience, who is made up of our patrons, you can support us on patreon.com/StudioMega, or is it Studio Mega YT? Whatever, that description is also on our channel page in the description, so check it out. You can get access to episodes early and other stuff, including listening live, which is what the audience did last week for What's Up, and those guys basically prompted me to ramble about L5R for way longer than I want to, so there's probably a solid 30 minutes to an hour in there somewhere of my opinions. So check it out, and check out our future episodes of What's Up for more tabletop RPG goodness. Okay, gonna let you go. Keep the fortunes with you, everybody.